Hi everyone, and welcome to the Digital Open Days of POLI.design, a society founded by Politecnico di Milano that today will present you its first level specializing masters and higher educational courses. I would like to remind you that at the end of the presentation of the master, there will be a Q&A moment. So if you have some question, you can write in the chat room. The next master that we are going to present is the master in sensorial surface design. And we're here with the co-director of the master, Professor Cristina Boeri. I leave you the floor. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Martina. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Cristina Boeri. I'm the co-director of the Master in Sensorial Surface Design, Color Material and Finish Design for Interiors and Furniture. I'm going to present you the second edition of the Master, so it is a Master quite new. And for this Master, we have a partnership with Federlegno Arredo Assopannelli, which is the national association that brings together some of the most important and worldwide recognized companies and brands on surface design. The director of the master is Mario Bisson, who is associate professor at the design department of Politecnico di Milano, and he teaches at the School of Design of Politecnico di Milano product design and visual elements for the project. I'm, as I told you, the co-director of the master. I deal with the emotional identities of design, especially color, combining professional research and also educational activities. Before to introduce you to the master, I would like to briefly outline, let's say, the context where the master was born. That is in connection with the Italian design culture. Here I'm taking some sentence from some of the designer and let's say the cultural point reference of Italian design that try to explain what happened in Italy since the mid-70s. So the research in the area of design primario at that time brought to attention the needs for a better understanding of the correlation with design, between design and the sensorial, the emotional aspect involved in this discipline. So we talk about intangible aspect and the so-called soft qualities, color, light, but also the acoustic aspect, the tactile aspects, even the olfactory aspect. Here again, I'm citing Clino Trini Castelli that explain how starting from the experience of design primario, as I told you, in the mid-70s, in the 80s, this attention for the importance of color, material, and finish that will become later CMF design exactly, assume an even greater importance in relation again to the need of thinking to design, not just from a tangible point of view, is not anymore about designing product, designing interior. It's more about designing experience in places, designing interaction experience with product, is about strategic design, is about exactly sensorial and emotional design. Finally, I would like just to introduce you this slide that is in order to stress a little bit on the fact that facing the intangible aspect of design doesn't mean that we don't have a strong methods and tools. So this slide is in order to show you how in the 70s, for example, this big company, Italian company in the chemical sector, that is Montedison, established probably the first design center in Milano, involved in trying to not just to create a culture around the subject of sensorial and emotional design, but they actually try also to define better methods, better tools, probably new, because it was a new subject, in order to start creating this sort of professionals. And it is thanks to this work, let's say a pioneer works made by this author, by this designer, that we can now talk about CMF design and CMF designer in a way that is worldwide recognized, is the professionals that it is required and worldwide recognized. Speaking about the master, we talk about some subject that I probably already introduced to you. So we talk about, of course, surface design. So the emotional, the functional, let's say, the functional and the emotional aspects involved in surface design. We talk as well as of CMF design, which means basically designing the identity, the emotional identity, the quality of product in interior, in our case, because we are focalizing on product, furniture, and interior. And it also means to face with the social cultural trend and being able to better understand what it means translating this social cultural trend in aesthetics. And so providing an insight in the new, in innovation, and in the new trend that will occur in interior and furniture. So the specialized skill offered by the master cover the theoretical, the technical, the practical aspect, link especially to color design, to material design, as well as the intangible aspect correlated to the trends, the research, and the strategy connected to the trend, and as well the experience and perceptual value. The training object of our master are providing skill in surface design. We decide to focalize especially in furniture and interiors because we believe that in this sector there is a lot of needs for new professionals compared to other sectors where probably the CMF design and the CMF designer are better recognizable and established. Finally, as I told you, talking about experience, talking about the intangible aspects of design means also talking about understanding and being able to analyze the trends in order to provide a new strategy, innovative strategy in the different sector of the market. The didactic plan is organized in lecture that are made by professor of Politecnico di Milano, as well as sector experts and professionals. Then we have what we call testimonial and in technical insights. So we have some modules that are providing yes, experience by companies, by designer who works in this sector and can provide, let's say, more than a testimonial, so also an update, a constantly update compared to the sector we are taking care of. Then we have what we call practical activities and workshop. There is a difference, in our opinion, between the two of them. Practical activities means what we call learn by doing. So we have lecture, but as well we immediately need to translate the lecture in some practical activity that allow us even to understand if we learn or not, if we understand or not. While workshop instead is intended more as a design activity, so something that is planned in order to provide the results that is close to a design results. Finally, we have project works that have a different approach because they have at the end of the master path. So they should be intended as a test of the knowledge and what you learn during the master. So they are full time, 5 days per week. They start with a brief, and basically the idea is that you are already learn whatever you need in order to answer to the brief and give a proper design results. So you test yourself, providing the tools, the methods, all the knowledge you learn during the master. The project works are together with the company, so the brief is defined together with the company, again, in order to give you a better update compared to the expectation of the company or the professional studios on our subject. At the end of the project work, we can say that we end the path of the classes dedicated to the master, and we start with the internship that is a 400 internship, and it can be done in studios or companies, or even for us is important research center, because this is a profile that needs to deal also with the research activities. Or you can decide for a specializing project that is instead with even more research purpose, and it can be done by yourself with the help of a tutor that is monitoring your advance during the internship. I'm just saying a few words about the module that are provided by the master. While I'm saying something about the different modules, they are 7+1, let's say. I'm also showing you some pictures that are taken by the first edition of our master. So the student develop some work that I have the opportunity to show you. The first module is called Basics, because actually is exactly our fundamental topics. So we talk about design culture, because this is an Italian organization master, and you know that for our culture, the history, the tradition, the heritage is so important in order to better understand the future. So we are really looking at the past in order to forecast the future and create innovation. So we have this introduction to the design culture and also Italian design culture. Then we have color design, material design, and CMF design that, as I said, are the fundamental of our master. The other fundamental module is about trend research and forecasting. So as I told you, dealing with the experience with the sensorial qualities means also dealing with the subjective datum. And these subjective aspects are constantly changing due to the cultural, to the social context. So we intend trend research and forecasting as something inevitable and related to the human being. That's why we have this starting module that is about social forecasting and social trend. Then we learn how to translate something that is about the social, the political, the economical context in aesthetics. That means that the design can be affected from this social trend, creating innovative aesthetics that are together aesthetics and meaning, new meaning, new strategy, new narrative, I would say, in design. Another important module for us is about experience and strategic design. So talking about intangible, probably the third aspect we need is exactly trying to better understand experience and user experience, more related to our subject, of course, and again, strategic design, because actually we talk about TMF design, but sometimes we talk about TMF strategic design, because they are really connecting with the idea of having a strategy. From the 4 module, we start another group. Let's say these are the first 3 group. Then we have a second 3 group of module that are more related to the workshop experience. So we still have lecturer, but these lecture are more intended as giving a starting point for working in a workshop and in a team way. So we have surface design. This is an example of what we did in the first edition of the surface design module. So exploring self-produced materials, that is an innovative approach to material design. And again, we have an example of what we did in furniture design, but we have also the module in sensorial and emotional design that is about soft redesign, so changing everything, but without touching the function and the shape. Finally, the project work. So an example of what we developed during the project work dedicated to the surfaces. So we actually arrived to prototype a surface, a new surface for the company involved in this project work. There were company involved in laminates and wood panel. And then we have a project work more dedicated to furniture, again with another company involved. And finally, a project work more dedicated to the interior and how the surface are applied and used in the interiors. In the second edition, we added this 8th module that is about empowerment. And in this module, we give the tools in order to prepare yourself to the job opportunity, because as we say to our students, the internship is not a job opportunity, is another way to learn, staying in a company or in a studio. After that, there is also the final, we hope, the final results, the final achievement of our master, that is find for a job opportunity. So the empowerment is intended as something that can be useful for the internship, but even more for your future job opportunities. This is the timeline of the second edition of the master. I think is even clear probably here how we organize the different modules of the master. So as I told you, 3 modules that for us are especially about theoretical basis, where the practical activities are in order to test if you actually understood about the lecture given during the 3 modules. Then we have more practice modules that are intended as workshop for surface, sensorial, and furniture design. And then what we call project work just in the end of our path, that are giving a brief and giving you independently to resolve and to find your final design results, and be judged also by the company and by a commission that is not anymore of professor. Finally, the 8th module, that is empowerment, actually is in the second part. So let's say in the practice part from March to June 2024, but is a little bit distributed during this part, giving some hours in what we feel is the best moment to give you the opportunity to better understand how to provide a CV, how to create your portfolio, and also how to do a better or a best interview with your company or studios. Then we have the internship that is organized from June, July, probably more July, because in June we have the interview with the different company and studios involved in our master. So let's say that June is the month where we organize the internship. July is the month where you can start your internship. 400 hours means around 3 months. So it's up to the company studio and also the student necessity nor needs decide to start directly in July or even in September. So let's say that is the period. It's mandatory that the internship needs to be end by the end of December. After the internship, we have the final exam. Again, we have, let's say, a longer period to fix the exam, because once again, the final exam is mandatory. So you need to also, in order to have your diploma, to have this final exam. Let's say that compared to the amount of students present during the master, we can have more than one date scheduled for the final exam, and the period where the final exam is scheduled is from January to August. It is an individual presentation. It doesn't require any extra, let's say, work in order to prepare it, because it's a final presentation in order to present the achievements you reach during the master, the classes, and also during the internship. I give you Martina.
Yes, maybe we can leave this slide here so you can read all the information about the formal requirements and admission requirements. And maybe let's start with the questions. So at first, I ask to the people who are here if they have any questions. If not, I start to read questions wrote by people online. And the first one is it possible to have an insight of the brief that were developed in the project works of this edition?
Of this edition, yes, it's possible. We have a LinkedIn page dedicated to the master, where, for example, the first master is already published, is already probably not yet all the project work, but we have a reason that I think is a good reason why probably we cannot, let's say, communicate in a very open way about the brief, because sometimes the company, and in this case, more than one company involved in the project work, ask for the possibility to take into consideration the production of the results of our students. So let's say that a little bit of yes, yeah, of is required sometimes, because in this case we cannot publish openly the brief and the result of the student, but some pictures, some insight, just to give an idea. If it's possible, it would be done.
Okay, okay, thank you. And the second one is, are the project works developed by the students in group or alone?
In group, because we are at the end of the master. I think the knowledge are already acquired, and we see that company and studio are really interested in professional that also have soft skill. So it's even more important that you demonstrate that you are able to work in a team. So that's why project works are strictly conducted in a small team.
Small team, how many students per team?
It could be 3 or 4.
Okay, so
Small, yeah.
okay. Are there specific skills a candidate should have in order to be selected?
A lot of passion for the subject. I would say that this is a new master for POLI.design, of course. As I told you, we are the second edition, so we are young. But it's something new also in Italy. So there is not another master like us, like our master in Italy. We are unique also on the international panorama. So there are a few masters concerning this subject. So I would say that we expect a lot of passion, clear idea about the fact that this is the work and opportunity of job we really like, because company and studio are interested in this professional. They are requiring this kind of professional. And that's it. When we start, we know that is something new for most of you. Of course, if you are designer, you have already a mindset that is open to all the subject of the master, and that's it.
So I would like to thank Professor Cristina Boeri, and also to thank you for following this presentation, and stay with us for the next presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.